We now have Peterbot contesting Clix. And no, this isn't just in the Cash Cup. This isn't just for drama and attention. We now have Peterbot switching his drop spot for the rest of the season and FNCS to Lone Wolf Lair because we just had a secret update that completely changed the meta. I'm going to explain exactly what happened. Clix isn't leaving, by the way. He wants to keep fighting Peterbot off spawn. He's even given his teammates $120,000 to say we are going to keep fighting Peterbot. So I'm going to cover all the crazy that happened there. We've now got some major drop spots on EU because of this meta shift. Veno's team has now left Crime City, which has created a massive shift on the drop maps on EU. There is so much to cover. Let's jump straight into it. All right, I'm going to explain everything about why Peterbot is contesting Clix, how we got here, and what it means going forward. So first off, why is Pete contesting Clix? Is because Lone Wolf Lair just got a massive buff with the minigun being added. Now, the reason why the minigun got added, you're probably wondering, wait, Oz, the update was a couple days ago. Why is there a minigun in the game now? It's because there's been like a joint community mission that's been going on in the background of Fortnite about raiding vaults, and now that we've unlocked it as a community, it has now added an extra room to each of the black markets around the map. So black market now has a mythic minigun. It is Bruce's minigun. It is as disgustingly OP as you thought it would be. We also have a drum gun at the one in the fields over near Seaport City. It also has a thermal scope on it. It's actually honestly really, really strong. And then we have the mythic outlaw shotgun in Crime City, which is not really that great. Most pros are running like blue pumps over it. So you have two good new mythics on the map, but one extremely good one. So Magic Moss's black market just got a considerably large buff. So with that, a lot of us were thinking like, man, this is now the best drop on the map. What does that mean? It now means Peterbot wants to drop on Clix, but I need to kind of tell another part of the story that doesn't seem to be getting across on social media that much right now. It was actually Poyo's decision. I'm seeing a lot of people say, oh man, Pete's such a hater. Pete's so negative, man. He's always hated on Clix. That's why he's griefing him. It was actually Poyo who decided to do this. Poyo and his coach, Razaru, who you guys have probably heard about, been coaching Pete and Poyo for ages now, Coach Veno, some of the biggest teams in the world. They decided before Pete even woke up, my man slept in until the solo Cash Cup started. So Poyo, without consulting Peterbot, took their drop spot and switched it. So he woke up and found out he's switching drops. Now, I actually got to talk to Pete about this and ask his thoughts on it. He said, well, we've already discussed landing on Clix in the past at Lone Wolf Lair because we think the drop is better. So Peterbot's team has already discussed that Lone Wolf Lair they thought was a better drop than Crime City because of the splashes at the Magic Moss's black market and because of the mythic AR. And a lot of people agree, saying that Lone Wolf Lair is actually a better drop than Crime City. Now, I think before this update, I'm giving the drop to Crime City only if you can lock down the train and Crime City and all the loot around it and everything else that Peterbot gets. Now, most teams aren't going to be able to lock all that down. I don't know whether Peterbot was maybe worried about this in Grands. People might try and take their loot. They've started getting the armored truck that goes towards the northwest of them as well. So they've been locking down a lot of loot, and it's actually very easy to grief that loot. The other thing that Peterbot was discussing is the fact that with the medallion, especially in finals, everyone knows where you are, which helps them a little bit in certain fights. In opens, if you take a fight and you've got the medallion, players can't stay. They know where you are, so they run away if it's Peterbot. They're not likely to third party because, oh man, we don't want to fight Pete. But in a grand finals lobby, being the one team on the entire map that's marked and everyone knows where you are at every single time, that is bad. That is not a thing that most teams want. So there is a chance they were actually going to drop it in grand finals. So the main thing they're gaining is the mythic pump and some other good loot as well. Hello guys, Sleepy Antics here. After I recorded the entire video, Pete has now tweeted out that he's going back to Crime City. I don't know whether this is real or not. I'm going to explain at the end of the video whether I think he's actually going to do this, but I wanted to make sure I got my editor to put this at the start of the video in case you guys think I baited you and then told you, oh, JK lol, he's not going there anymore, okay? All of this happened. I still think he's probably going to go there, but I wanted to put this in the start so I don't bait you, okay? I love y'all. Enjoy the video. It's still really good loot, don't get me wrong. It's still one of the best drops we've had. It's definitely one of the best drops on the map right now. It's probably the second or potentially third best drop. I think Mars Meadows actually beats it out, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. But before this becomes a story about, oh, Pete's just griefing Clix, he's targeting Clix because he hates him and he's jealous and all that I've been seeing go around, it wasn't Pete's decision. They've already talked about wanting Lone Wolf Lair. Pete even said in the call when I was talking to him, he thought Clix would just leave and go to Crime City and he'd take that drop. So Pete's team, again, they want the best drop on the map. Whether you find that frustrating or annoying or cringe or whatever you want, Pete wants to have the best drop. He wants to win FNCS. He wants to make the most amount of money, and he has the land spot. That's the other big topic of this. People keep acting like, oh, why does Pete just get to take the PY? Of course, Clix is going to fight him. Clix isn't qual to land and Peterbot is. This is a huge distinction that I think a lot of the casual audience don't seem to get as much. If you have a land spot, you have a massive advantage over any team because the way it works in FNCS is as long as your enemy loses, you still technically win in the eyes of most pros. If you've called to land and you stop them from calling to land, they contest you, you still win. Whereas if you're Clix, you now need to beat Peterbot so significantly that you can get a top 3 or top 4 position and qualify to the LAN, even while being contested by arguably or unarguably for some people, the best team on the region. It's a way worse spot to be in, which also means I don't think there is any chance Peterbot's team or Acorn's team are signing the papers and splitting up. I think this is the final straw where Pete and Acorn's teams are both not signing those papers. We are going to go to LAN with the trios that placed last FNCS, not with the current trios, because at this point now, if Peterbot or Acorn's teams agree to sign the papers, that means Clix is going to go from being an unqualified LAN team versing a qual team to it flipping. Because if Pete signs the papers and Acorn's team signs the papers and they disband their teams from LAN and their LAN spots roll down, that means Clix is now qualified and Peterbot isn't. So it changes the whole dynamic. So I think this is going to be the final nail in the coffin where we are not seeing those papers signed, whether you love it or hate it. At LAN, we are going to see Pete, Cold, and Ritual, and we're going to see Acorn, Aged, and Poya. Whatever happens for the next 2 seasons, at LAN, those are going to be the teams we see. Because right now we have Acorn's team that's locked down Mars Meadows. Again, in my opinion, probably the second best drop on the map now, ahead of Crime City, because they have a LAN spot. Just to try to make it a bit more clear what I'm talking about here with who has LAN and who doesn't, Veno's team has now left Crime City on EU to drop Mars Meadows because they think that Mars Meadows is better than Crime City. You probably think, Aussie, why didn't they go Lone Wolf Lair? That's because Malibuca, the team that's going Lone Wolf Lair on EU, is also qualified to LAN. So Veno knows that Malibuca won't leave the drop because they have a lot less to lose. They're in the same position as they are. Where if it was a team at Lone Wolf Lair on EU who didn't have LAN, Veno would probably try and claim it. So as much as I love the Peterbot versus Clix storyline, I know it's going to get a lot of attention on comp right now. It's going to draw a lot of attention. It's not really as kind of personal as what people seem to make it out to be right now. Pete just wants the best drop on the map. It wasn't even his decision, and Lone Wolf Lair is the spot to do it. And other teams on other regions are doing the same thing. There's been multiple teams on other regions who've now changed their drop spot based on these mythics coming into the game. Lone Wolf is now the best drop on the map, unarguably. You get guaranteed max splashes for your entire trio. You get the mythic assault rifle, you get the mythic minigun, you get the heal grenades, you get everything. It's such a good drop. And the other thing that I need to talk about as well for Peterbot, which is just insane, if Crime City is contested, which right now it is, we have Reet's team going up against Boltz's team, that means the train is going to go to Lone Wolf Lair. So if Crime City is contested on your region, Lone Wolf Lair goes from being like the best drop to just an ungodly amount of loot that truly does seem unstoppable, because that's where the train's going to go to next. If they're uncontested, they can grab it. Now, if Pete is versing Clix, which is what it looks like right now, because I haven't even talked about it yet, Clix actually just said he is not leaving. He is going to be contesting Pete every single game. He is so sure of this. He showed on stream that he gave Batman Booga and Iomzo, his 2 duo mates, $60,000 each to fight the fight. Now, a lot of people are claiming the photo that he showed is fake and it's altered. It's not a real image, but Iomzo and Batman Booga both on stream said that Clix has sent them the $60,000. So if you are sick of Pete pushing teams around and you think that this is kind of not how the game's supposed to work, you can't just always have the best drop, it looks like Clix is going to be fighting Pete. He's going to try and hold down Lone Wolf Lair, and we've got finals starting today as of this video going live. I'm going to be watching it on my YouTube and Twitch stream. We will get to see Clix versus Peterbot, and oh boy, this is going to be one of the most exciting spawn fights we've ever seen. Now, like I said, I'm honestly surprised to see this spawn fight is happening. I thought Clix's team would leave. It sucks. They're looking so good. Their drop is amazing. I think their team is looking phenomenal, but it does just come down to they've got LAN and you don't. And that's how most pros are going to see it. You know that you have way more on the line. But a lot of people saying that Pete's got a lot to lose right now as well. He's on like a 9 or 10 cash cup in a row streak. Pete is one of the favorites to win FNCS. His ego's too big. He's not going to want to lose FNCS, but we're going to have to wait and see. There's no point talking about it. Apparently, Clix isn't leaving. Pete still wants to go there. So we're going to see the spawn fight, and I guess we're going to see who leaves, or we're going to go through the whole season like this. One thing I do need to point out with all of this is, are these items even supposed to be in competitive? We still don't actually know. It does seem like the kind of update that was only meant to affect pubs, and it wasn't meant to affect competitive, because the only way you can actually access this room in the vault is by loading up a public match first, it unlocking, and then you can go in and play it in tournaments. Also, apparently, according to Veno, the other quests that you can unlock through pubs and progress that give you crazy loot advantage advantages like extra NPCs, but extra vending machines, which would help competitive a lot, and even giving you extra gold and dill bits when you open the new outlaw chest. Apparently those are in competitive as well, which just doesn't sound right. So there is a good chance we see these items taken out of competitive. They weren't meant to be in, especially the minigun, because it is just so broken. I know it might be crazy hearing this, like why would Pete's team leave such a good drop just for the minigun? Again, it's not just the minigun, but there's pros out there who I've talked to who said they would rather take one mythic minigun than triple mythic pumps for their whole team. If you guys remember what it was like when we had Kanata being the minigun playing with Pete, it is just so much pressure. So it does make sense, but it could get removed from the game. So I was quick to ask Pete what this means, and Razru, their coach, said the same thing. Because they're already considering going here for the splashes, if the minigun gets removed, they're still going to keep going there. So this isn't like something where we can see the gun removed and then Pete goes back to Mega City. Maybe Pete might switch his drop to Mast Meadows. I don't know, but again, that's contesting Acorn, who already has the land spot. So things change a little bit, but apparently even if the minigun gets removed, if all of this is a bug and it wasn't meant to be in competitive, which would be such a Fortnite thing to do, have this much drama caused by an item that wasn't even meant to be in the game, apparently it changes nothing for Pete. They're still going to go there. As far as what this has changed for the drop spots, we'll look at the EU and NA finals map. I won't do a full recap because obviously this is going to be a crazy long video as is, and there's going to be a lot of focus on the new drops. But if we look at EU's Crime City, because Veno, Vico, Flixie have now left, they've gone Mast Meadows, they're uncontested. Rezon didn't make finals, so Rezon's not there to contest them. I don't think Rezon is going to. I think Rezon, unfortunately, is going to have to find a new drop. We'll see. But Crime City now has 3 teams. We have Sanguild, Chino, and Phronoxy, Shark, Chap, and Kidduo, and Jewel, Hyper, and Rillis. So we've had Shark's team leave triple contested Shiny Shafts to go triple contested Crime City. Meanwhile, iDrop, Sky, and Scroll now get to stay Shiny Shafts and be uncontested. So Malibu, Ping, and Wox still have Lone Wolf Lair. No one's dropping on them, again, because they have the land spot. Now, if we look over on NA, we have 3 teams that are going Crime City. This is finals. Now, the thing that I need to point out, though, 2 of these 3 teams aren't playing on NA Central for FNCS. So Pablo, Fred, and Marius, a European team, they're just playing the Cash Cup finals. Skittles, Bolton, and Aviv are an NA Central team, but Barker, Pars, and Pump are going to be playing FNCS on West. They are the FNCS champions on West. They are qualifying on Central and doing really well, but they want to play FNCS on West again as well. So the other main team that is going Crime City on NA Central as of right now is Skittles, Bolton, and Aviv, but also Reet. Reet has his new team. He is playing alongside Bryce X and Tony FV. Reed has said he wants to go Crime City as well now that he's qualified. And I was talking to him on stream as well today. He said even if Clix went and dropped at Crime City, he would still contest. And that's the difference I want to talk about. He could change his mind, but Peterbot's been holding down all of Crime City and all the loot around it because he's Peterbot. He has the land spot and he's a very scary team. So for those of you guys being confused why Clix just didn't go straight to Crime City, that might not really be an option anymore. He might still be contested even if he leaves. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Clix going forward, even if they do want to leave Lone Wolf Lair. It's a bit sad to see. I'm a huge Clix fan. A lot of people rallying behind this being Clix's season. He could win FNCS. He could put a stop to Peterbot. He can still do that, but it's going to be him doing it on spawn, which is going to be really, really hard. Again, not just because Peterbot's such a good off-spawn team, but because Peterbot doesn't need to win. He just needs to make Clix lose. I don't think it's ever a good time to be contested by Peterbot, especially when you're looking like you're having one of the best seasons ever, but this did come at least a somewhat decent time for Clix, as he's been hyping up some kind of announcement at the moment. He said a bunch of people, myself included, merch, hyping up the 17th. In a few days time, we're getting apparently Clix's biggest announcement of his career. So that's why I don't think he's streaming for the next few days, because he didn't stream the solo cash cup today. He went live, he made his announcement, and then he ended. So I don't think we're going to get to see Clix versus Peterbot on stream, except for in replays, which I will be covering obviously, but at least this is a good time to get a bunch of attention and eyes on Clix, whatever he's about to announce. I know I'm trying to find the silver lining here about, you know, having potentially what was looking like maybe their FNCS winning season ruined, but there could still be, we never know what'll happen. This could still shake up to be a good position for Clix, and he does have something apparently really big on the horizon in the next few days. Sleepy Antics here again, putting this in the video. Peterbot has now tweeted out that he is going back to Crime City. I don't know if this is an elaborate bait. I don't know if he's still going to drop on Clix. I have no idea what's happening, and it's too late for me to find out. I've messaged a few people. I can't really get a straight answer, but it looks like Peterbot's now going back on everything that happened today. But this could be a bait, and he could still land on Clix. This has been done before, but now Pete is potentially triple conned back at Crime City. I'm guessing some of these teams now might leave, but they're probably still at least 1 or 2 of them going to go Crime City. So this is still very, very big for comp going forward. It could mean that Clix is now uncontested at the best drop on the map, which is just absolutely insane for Clix going forward. He's just now got a big buff, and now people are pointing out that one of the quests that you can now do in pubs is letting people go straight to the black market, open a chest, get the dilbit, and then buy the minigun straight away, which is almost definitely going to be vaulted in competitive. So I don't want to take down the video. I'm sorry if you think I clickbaited you. All of this still happened, and Pete could still be contesting Clix, but now, as I was going to bed, I fully recorded the video. He's tweeted out that he's going back to Crime City. So we'll find out tomorrow when I wake up. Today, as of you guys watching the video, watch the stream.